Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. My Wi-Fi signal is actually good enough to talk to you live from the beach. I only hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up, because tonight I'm going to talk about when you really hate dating and you hate dating apps, and just getting on a dating app or figuring out how to date, oh great, is just, it's really worse than going to the dentist or a job interview. I think it's a lot like going to a job interview, because you don't really know what your fate is. You don't know if you're gonna end up with what you want or not. And you have to meet someone new, so there's like social anxiety. You don't know if they're gonna like you. You're probably not gonna like them. That's a given. And then what if you meet someone and you do like them and they don't like you? And they go, I'll call you. So I actually remembered today a man that I had a super big crush on, and we finally went out on a date and we had a great time. And he asked me out for another date the very next night. And I'm like, oh my goodness. We went on a date the very next night. He had told me he was about to take a trip and that he'd call me. He never called me again. He got back from his trip. I knew, I was counting down the days because we were going to go out again. And he never called me back. And I had ran into a friend that knew him, and I must have given her some form of a sob story, because he wrote me a letter telling me that I was just drop dead gorgeous, I was so beautiful, and I was so amazing and so sweet, but he was in a weird place right now, and if he hurt me, he really didn't mean to ever hurt me. And all I'm thinking is, I felt kind of stupid for getting so attached so quickly, only after 2 dates, for this man to have to apologize for if he's ever hurt me. You know, it's kind of ridiculous. But so often in dating, we go from 0 to 10 in no time. We go from I hate dating, I hate dating, I hate dating, to oh my God, I just met someone and we would have the most beautiful kids. And you've only had 1 date with them or 2 dates with them, you see? So often I talk to clients and they've only had a handful of dates with a guy and they're already thinking this could be the one. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes you know, and you get that feeling, but there's something called overinvestment that happens with dating. And overinvestment means you go all in very quickly and you actually give more to the relationship than the relationship has given to you. So you invest more than the man has invested in you, or even in dating. He maybe hasn't even dated you that much or called you that much. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about why we hate dating and how you can possibly turn it around. Now I'm doing my FIM class. It's my FIM tools class in just a couple of days. And you're gonna miss out on the discounting pricing if you don't sign up within the next 5 days. I'm gonna have a whole day where I talk about dating. If you can't attend live, don't worry, it's recorded. So check it out in the link below. So someone just asked, do you hold back? So this is why I talk about the 5 men I want you to be dating. Because when you've always got your A guy or your number 1 guy, you've got the second runner-up, you've got the third runner-up, and then you have these 2 interchangeable men that they're just new guys that you're meeting for coffee, very casual. You're switching them up all the time. You're always gonna have the main guy that you really, really want, and then you're gonna have the second runner-up. So often you end up with the second runner-up because the main guy isn't moving forward. He's not claiming you. He's not doing what it really, really takes to claim you. And eventually someone will ask you to marry them. And you're gonna have to make a decision. Do I wanna keep, hanging out with guy number 1 who's not claiming me, or do I wanna go with guy number 2? So do you hold back? What you do is you keep yourself at a distance because of the other men in your life. You don't get overinvested in just one. You don't date just one. You don't go all in with that one. So do you hold yourself back? You don't necessarily hold yourself back. When you're with that man, you're with him. You think about him. You're on a date with him. But when you're away from him, you don't think about him. You don't think about him, you see. You are busy doing other things with your rich, juicy, wonderful life, including dating other men. Okay? So how can you keep from hating a dating app and the whole dating process? So I go in great detail in my Fem Tools class. And I talk about how you really want to use your dating app like every other day. You don't have to be on there every day. You want to learn how to take things with a very light, feminine humor and not be so serious when a guy says something or doesn't say something. Learn how to really, bat it back to them in a playful, feminine way. And I teach you how to do that. Being light and playful and able to ride the waves is a big part of having a relationship and having a long-lasting marriage. It's those ups and downs that you have to endure. Also, this is about confidence. Now, confidence is something like you maybe have or you don't have, but it's something that I believe you develop. And I'm not talking about confidence that the date is going to work out and everything's going to be great, but confidence that I am going to pack a tool and I'm going to go use that tool and I'm going to see what happens. I'm confident I can use this one tool. So I talk a lot about your goddess toolbox and what tools to pack when you go on a date. Because eventually the man that you want to be with is going to show up. And I want you to be ready. I don't want you to have to practice on him. He's going to show up and he's going to be ready to go, and everything is going to be aligned for you in the universe. And I don't want you to feel a panic and suddenly have to practice. I want you to just know that you can wrap his heart all up. Because ladies, let me tell you what, he's coming. There are plenty of men out there everywhere. There's a single guy right there in the camera, if you can see him. He's cute too. So they're everywhere. Okay, so just have the confidence in yourself. I'm good with a particular tool. And if you don't know what the tools are, in my Fem Tools class, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about those tools. And you get access to a little library I have that also has a list of all the tools and what they are and how to use them. So I hope you can join my Fem class. It's over at everheartcoaching.com/Fem with 2 M's, Feminine Energy Mindset Method, Fem Tools. And sign up. It's an inexpensive class for everybody. So I'd love to take just a minute or two of your questions. I can't believe my internet connection's keeping me alive here on YouTube. I'm so excited. Thank you, universe. And let's just go to top chat and see if anybody has a question. Oh, XOXO said someone had proposed to her and she didn't know because she liked the other one. Yeah, it happens. Someone said they like dating older men, but super young men, and then they ghost you. Maybe so. I hate that ghosting has just become this word that everybody uses when like someone just doesn't like you and they don't want to date you anymore. That is their right to not like you and not want to date you. Don't call it ghosting. I think you're pulling that stuff to you. Pulling it to you, okay? Let's see what else we have. Any other questions? I'm going to tap new, or live rather, and see if I have a newer question from you. Oh, you're not at the beach. It's beautiful here. And I love chatting with you all. No questions about dating. No questions about the Fem class. Remember, you want to date because that's your practice. It's not so much that you're looking for the man you want to spend the rest of your life with. It's really more about, I'm learning how to date. I'm learning how to speak and talk to a man. Oh, I get this question a lot. I've leaned back so much that the guy I'm dating says I don't talk much. How do I change that? Well, leaning back doesn't mean you're mute. It just means that you're not moving forward with action. You're not keeping the conversation going. So if he says, I don't talk much, how does that make you feel? Well, if my guy said, you don't talk much, I would feel curious. I would say, oh my goodness. Well, what would you like to talk about? What would you like to speak about? Or I'd say, wow, I feel like I talk all the time. However, is there something missing that we need to be speaking about? I just get some clarity on what he means by that. Can you use feminine energy with everyone, not just men? Absolutely. Everyone has a grandmother or an aunt or a girlfriend or some woman in their life who is just a pleasure to be around. And you just cannot get enough of them. It's because they're in their feminine energy. And you love it. It feels good. They're positive. They speak from their heart. They're honest. It's a lot of feminine energies. They're playful. And these women feel good to be with. Oh, someone hasn't heard from their boyfriend since March 29th. Should I delete his number and move on? Have you gotten the ABCs to get him back yet? Check out that program. Even if you read the page on it or you get the free videos that are on YouTube for the ABCs to get him back, it'll help you out a bunch. I can't tell you to move on or not, and I won't. I am not one of those coaches who's like, you should just move on. I will never tell you what to do, because here's what I found out. You lead the way. That man, or even that desire to have that man back to you, it leads you somewhere new. That if I tell you to stop and don't do it, you're going to be missing out on the unfolding of your world. And you'll miss out on learning something wonderful. Lynette says she lives with a guy and they're having challenges. He spends so much time complaining. Should I just lean back? He spends a lot of time complaining. So you would want to go to, how does that make you feel? So I don't like complaining. So if somebody's around me and complains a lot, I'll get kind of bored. Give it a minute or two. Really, really get him. Oh my goodness, you must feel so frustrated. That's really, really get him tool. And then just get bored and just, yeah, get bored. And he'll say, well, what? Am I boring you? And go, well, kinda, you know. But Abraham said one time that if you really want to make your relationships work with people, ignore 80% of everything they do. I think there's a lot of truth to that. If my guy's in a bad mood, I make an excuse and I go do something else. And I get away from that mess. How do I know if a guy wants to be something serious or just a friend with benefits? He takes you on dates. And then after a couple of dates, you can talk to him and say, where do you see this going? This feels amazing. I feel so good when we're together. Where do you see this going? Oh, and if he only calls you after, like 9 o'clock at night, he plans dates in advance. Miss Kendra, you feel free to email me or go to my website for coaching. There's a link on my page about coaching. Jess Starr says, a guy that only sees me once a week, how do I get him to see me more and have the talk? So this is in 500 Ways to Talk to a Man. In my ebook, I have a whole section on conversations just like this one. And my favorite is you're able to tell him, I'm really looking for a regular dating relationship and I don't feel like we're on the same page. I'm curious how you feel. And see what he says. Should marriage be the ideal? Coming in from Lori. It was for me. So many women are like, no, if I could just have a partner, if I could just have a friendship or someone to be there. And then when I really, really talk to them about it and I really find out, but do you want to be married? You want to have this, ceremony in front of all your friends and have the ring and everything, they go, yeah, but I just feel like the guy's not going to do it. So if you want to be married, own it. Own it totally. I want to be a wife. So I think it's the ideal. Clary says, is it possible to let a man that he is 9 to 11 years younger be masculine? Yes, age has nothing to do with it. I've met little boys that are insanely masculine energy, bossing me around, telling me what to do, where to go. I've met bossy little children that are little boys, and it's in them. It's in them, and as long as they're around women who, listen and relax, let them lead the way, but they have their boundaries, that makes the biggest difference. So age doesn't matter. Oh, you're 53 and you took yourself out of the dating scene. What does all these children and grandchildren have to do with anything? You can date at any age. I have clients in their 70s. Yes, I do. You can date at any age. Last question. How do you get a guy to claim you? Well, if I had one answer, if I could only pick one answer, if I could only pick one answer about how to get a guy to claim you, it would be this. Have your boundary in place that you want to be claimed and you want to be a wife, and don't date him forever and just see where he takes things. But have that clearly in your mind that I want to be a wife, I want to be claimed, I'm not here to date just infinitely until he gets tired of you, dumps you, and moves on to the next girl. Have it in your energy. That's one of the most important things. Okay, everybody, if you want to join me for FEM class, you have 5 more days to save money on the intro price, the early bird price. It's still a great deal, and I'll post the link below. Again, you get a library full of stuff from me. It's going to be recorded, but it's also live, so you can attend live. If you can't attend live, I send you the recording. Oh, it's so beautiful here. Isn't it gorgeous? Minus the screaming kids, it's gorgeous, trust me. All right, everybody, much love to you.